Namaste, and welcome to day 8 of the Ready, Steady, Shimmy challenge. Week 1 completed successfully. A lot of interesting things. We played around with the shimmies, with footwork, with arm work to create some very interesting and fun combinations, which I'm really hoping that over time you're going to have the chance to apply in your own dancing, improvisation, choreographies. Now, we're at the start of week 2, and today we're going to do something a little bit more challenging. It's not going to be a complete combo per se, but it's going to be trying to get into shimmies as we level our body. So this particular one is not a combo, which means you won't have 8 counts on the right and 8 counts on the left. It's more of a test of flexibility, so to kind of gauge where we are. Muscle control, consistency in the shimmies. It's a good test because now that we've gone through week 1, we have a chance to kind of up the game a little bit and see where we are at when it comes to muscle control, flexibility, endurance, stamina, and to really see whether we have the kind of control we think we have over our shimmies. Now, this one is the infamous kind of like shimmy where people have seen dancers kind of move away from the core of their body towards the front, almost reaching a flat back position. But there are a few tricks of the trade, especially for this one. So a lot of times I see dancers kind of going in this arch, and you don't want to do that. So the starting position per se, you could choose to keep one foot in front, which does work for me much better than keeping both together. So one and a little bit turned out works for me. If that works for you, you can definitely try it out and see and gauge. Now, the idea is to open up and extend from the chest as we send the spine, lower spine or the coccyx backwards. So we're kind of creating this opposition where both parts of our spine, the frontal and the lower, the upper and the lower, the forward and the back, are pulling against each other but in a straight line. So you're using your strength because you have to keep that spine straight. So you want to start by simply gauging, firstly, how low can you go while keeping your spine straight without this happening? Okay? So if for you, it's natural to keep the spine straight till here, just stay there. Just that much. Okay? If you feel like you can aim to go lower with the spine, you can then try to practice with this a little bit and see how far out you can go with the spine straight. Yeah, so it's really a flexibility one at first, and I would suggest before you get started a good warm-up, especially of the thighs, the quads, the calves, you know, some squats maybe to open up the whole groin region and the psoas muscles, and maybe a few hip rolls to activate the muscles and the joints in the hips. Also maybe some general roll down to the floor and rolls back up so that, you know, you have engaged all the vertebrae in the spine and then you've lifted off completely. So a good warm-up I highly suggest for this one because it's a little bit more challenging on the body physically. Yeah, of course, a lot of what we do and execute is mental, but this particular one is a little bit more taxing on the body. So my focus with this shimmy is to twist and back, 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 twist and back. And the goal is to keep gauging where I am at in the sense of, you know, where am I currently when it comes to my ability to go lower, my ability to bend a little bit more or reach towards the ground a little bit more. What's my ability of doing that? Gauging it and not overstretching your ability. Yeah, literally in the body, but also being very present and aware with what your ability is at the moment. Because we can have, you know, like tight quads, tight calves, tight hamstrings, and could find it difficult to kind of go too low with this movement. To balance it out, you can also move to the other side and practice it. Remember, back is nice and straight and you're going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now I'm going to give you a little trick as well. This trick helps if you're simply hoping to go with the movement flat. But if you put in the shimmies, it might not work as much. So if I'm pushing forward and back, keeping my opposite supporting leg at the back softly bent is going to help me reach down to the floor a little bit more. And then automatically when some people start to add bending of this front knee, then they can go a little bit lower than that. But we're here to gauge our flexibility. So I don't want to, invite you to bend too much from the knees, because then you're going to find it difficult to kind of execute the shimmies. So simply gauging how low you can go without having to bend the knees too much, while also keeping the back nice and flat and sending the hip forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Okay? So remember, the challenge is not how low you're going. The challenge is how straight you can keep the spine and how much endurance you can keep while you are doing or executing the shimmies. So my focus with this movement is to go shimmy forward, back, 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 and coming back, up and shimmy forward, back and shimmy forward, back and shimmy forward, back. So we're testing control with this particular one, not really a combo per se, but control. So if you feel like you can do it 3 times, maybe 1, 2, 3, and that's the best that you can do without this happening to your spine, be there. Be there. Okay? Focus on the attention of that one leg being in front, thinking of the hips going forward and back, keeping your shimmies continuous. As a warm-up exercise, you can even do it, touching the floor and starting to practice your shimmies with your hands on the floor, but your back as straight. So not hunching, not rounded, but straight. Maybe also looking at yourself and arching and looking forward while you push the shimmies. Yeah, so you can try that too as a practice for the warm-up, because it'll be super, super beneficial. Part of the challenge series is also to give you tools that you can use to strengthen your shimmies in the long run. It's not just about these 28 days. It's about the long run. And everything that you do in this challenge has to help you grow over time. Now with the arms, what do I do? And you can keep this how you feel. But the arms, I'm going just gently, gently, gently. So it's kind of a motion that's a combination between roundedness, but also the opening and the closing, like water fingers. So it's a combination of those 2 things, right? So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. So say if 4 works for you, stick to that. And then it's not a combo, so I'm not joining it from one side to the other, but I'm surely going to practice it on the other side. Why do I do that? To make sure I keep a balance between both the hemispheres of my body, yeah, and my brain. So I'm doing that not because I want to execute it one side here and one side here in a choreography, but simply to see which side is probably more tense and tight, which one's a little bit more relaxed, and to keep that balance going. Yeah? Okay, so let's try this particular one with music. Okay. So just getting used to this. Just pushing. And pushing with the shimmies. And trying it to the other side. Gauging where we can stay flat, okay? Straight back. You can also try, once you come back, to push a little backwards and see what does it feel like to go into the opposition of the front. So see what that feels like. It's not part of the challenge per se, but just to test and see how you feel about that. Let's try it once again, both sides. Keep your back straight. And let's try the other side. All right. Not the simplest one out of all the shimmies that we've done, that's for sure. Things are definitely picking up from week to week as well. So this one's really about starting to test your endurance. And now, in this week, our focus and attention is really going to be on that endurance. In trying the shimmy in a little bit more challenging ways to see if we're able to keep the technicality, the strength, the control, the consistency. So we want to kind of gauge that through this week, and we're really going to try to push our shimmies in that direction this week. So happy practicing. I know it's not easy, but I also know you can do it. Keep dancing. I'll see you tomorrow.